come back to our topic on devotion. And so, a faith, Lord, in this form of worship, Bhagavan says, even though we have a vidhi, a systematic approach, giving you a proper tool of expression. If somebody asks, how should I fall in love? Well, there is no particular rule how a young teenage kid asks his parent, how you dad and mom, you both fell in love and you today married for 25 years. How should I fall in love? How can anybody tell you that? Because it's not about falling in love. It's about you being able to sense that emotion in you. It's you being able to express what is there. It's you being able to understand there is so much internal, feeling-based, experience-based, context-based. When the context is right, you will know. That's all a parent can say. When the right person emerges, you will know. And if you have made a mistake, you will again relearn. And therefore, it is here Bhagavan says, no matter what you give me, when that love of a devotee is pure and true, whatever you offer is good enough. It will be received by me. And so, very, very beautiful. Yo yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhaya chitum ichchati tasya chalam shraddham tamev vidadhamyaham. In whichever form your shraddha emerges, your faith emerges, in whichever form your devotion emerges, Bhagavan says, I will bless that faith. I will accept, I will validate, and I will help you stabilize that faith in the infinite being. And so while on one hand we have a beautiful process of worship, which we have seen as 5-step, 10-step, 16-step, 64-step, because that process, when you imbibe a process, you learn to connect your spirit behind the form. The spirit of devotion gets connected to the form. Hey, I don't know how to tell the other one that I love her. What should I do? Don't you ask? What can you do? You cannot do somersault for her. What should you do? You will only take an expression which is commonly known in your generation, in the previous generations. And we know one thing for sure, that flowers somehow carry the sentiment of love. Somehow this seems to be commonly accepted in our culture. And especially if it is a red rose. It carries the love from the heart. It carries it as a postman and gives it to the other. And so how does this rose petal carry your love? Look at this. Rose is a rose, no? What does it have got to do with your love? You don't pick a blue rose and get the blues or the yellow rose or a pink rose. You go for that red rose, don't you? Well, because we, all of us by association, we have decided what? That this red rose is the best carrier of your love to your beloved. Is it not true? Who decided that? We decided. And so when you take this love this rose, this form, and infuse it with your spirit, with your love for your beloved, and give it to the beloved, what happens? That beloved of yours also receives it and holds it to her heart, no? Because from that heart, that love with the rose has arrived in this heart. I'm just imagining how it would be. And you hold it to your heart. And if your sister says, oh, that's a beautiful rose, give it to me, I want to put it in my hair, you will say, you take the other rose, this is only for me. What is so special? That love from him sits in this rose. And so, every form carries a spirit. And if you are looking for an expression, a beautiful expression of worship to bring forth for a simple, ordinary human being, when you use so many ways to express your love, at least before marriage, then when you want to express your devotion to the infinite being, where will you go? What is your system? What is your way? What is your model of expression? How will you tell the infinite that you really are grateful and you thank and you're grateful for this life and all the gifts of life? How are you going to express your love and devotion to the divine without having some forms that carry your sentiment? And those forms which carry your sentiment, that has been given to us in this tradition for generations and generations and generations, for hundreds and thousands of generations, is this form of worship called puja. Puja. And this puja, there are elements of this puja seen in different religions, in different cultures. Some cultures offer an incense, some culture offer a light. Some culture may have 1 step, 2 step. In this culture, we have up to 64 steps of elaborate. When I sit with the infinite being, it doesn't matter if I have to sit for 3 hours. That's why Indian pujas go on and on and on and on. Because when you invite the infinite, there is so much to say, so much to give, so much to express, no? In your love of devotion, you lose your separation with the Lord. When you start dialoguing with the divine, then do you remember time? When you're talking to your beloved, do you remember time? Suddenly you find 2 hours have gone, is it not? Here a devotee's devotion to the infinite, expressing itself as a puja, is the most heart-rendering, most beautiful expression if one can find one's connection to this form of prayer. On the other hand, while the tradition goes eloquent about these superbly, extraordinarily esoteric, beautiful, aesthetically profound forms of worship, it also shows that if none of this exists, but you are a devotee and your devotion is gross, that is also accepted by the divine. Can you believe this? Look at the range, look at the tenacity, look at the flexibility, look at the accommodation of the tradition, of the depth of the culture because it accepts all forms of worship